hopefully you are having a fantastic summer. You are staying cool and you are staying hydrated. So if you down south, Texas to be exact, please drink you a lot of water, eat you a lot of watermelon, juice the watermelon. Watermelon juice is good, by the way, you all. You just do not know how good fresh watermelon juice is until you had it, you all. It will tell you uh, no to all those other juices that are out there on the market. Once you get you a good, sweet, seeded watermelon, you can find some good ones in the grocery store. I found me a good one at HEB. I found me a good one at Kroger, but when I went back, it was a hit and miss. So, but you can find some good ones. And I also bought one from a lady who gets her watermelon from East Texas. And so I juiced hers, and I'll tell you, it was sweet all the way through. But yes, you all, juice you some watermelon. So either you can buy a big one and cut it in half and juice one half and cut the other half up in slices, or you can just juice the whole thing. And I kid you not, you will be drinking that throughout the day. You be like, I've really been missing out. I'm gonna have to leave those other juices on the market alone and stick with this one. But I will say do the watermelon juice during watermelon season. So we're in watermelon season. So go ahead and get you a big, seeded, juicy, sweet watermelon. So all right, you all. So I'm going to be mindful of your time. So today we are going to talk about energy efficiency and new construction. So I'm in a model home right now. So this is the office that's in one of the model homes that I am in. So let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Latosca Asberry, and I am a real estate agent in the great state of Texas. So today we are going to talk about energy efficiency in new construction. So I know a lot of builders tend to lead with that, not only the incentives, they also be sure to put a page in their packet when they give it to you about energy efficient appliances, how they do spray foam, how they do all the works for your home, and which is very important. So let's go ahead and get into it. So let's get into the core components. And yes, I'm going to be reading from my notes because I am working on 10 episodes, and so far this one is I can't even remember, but I know I got like four more to go, so six, yeah, sixth episode, sixth episode. However, you look at it, and so I don't remember everything. So that's why I said I got to have my notes because I don't want to be in front of the camera saying, I don't know, even though I do that. But hey, I got my notes to keep me on track. So we're going to talk about the envelope, so the seal and the installation. So that's where the magic or the disaster. It's not just about the AC unit, it's about how it keeps the air in, look for quality installation and high performing windows. If your envelope is leaky, you're just paying to cool down the neighborhood, not your living room slash your house. Okay, let's go and talk about the HVAC systems. So new homes are not just built to code, they're built for airflow. So today's systems are designed to communicate with the home's layout, but remember, a high efficiency system still needs proper maintenance, filters, cleaning, and professional services to keep that energy rating from dropping off the cliff. So let me keep going because I always have a personal story that I have to share for you all. And then here's the smart factor. So the smart thermostat and automatic lighting are great, but they aren't magic. They are tools. So if you have an energy efficient home, but set your thermostat to 65 in the middle of the Texas summer, you're going to get a massive electric bill regardless of the technology. So we're talking about installation, seals, the HVAC system, and the smart thermostat. And so that's pretty standard in new homes. And so let me tell you the difference between new and existing. So if you heard in my previous episodes, I've talked about living in a modern apartment versus living in an older model apartment. So yeah, so you see all the, and it all comes together. You, I promise you all, it comes together. You're like, well, what an apartment has to do with a house? It does come to full circle. I'm gonna bring it to full circle for you. So I was living in a modern apartment. They weren't like brand new, but they was modern. They was, you could tell they was pretty updated. It had the form seating. It had like the fixtures where you can touch and you didn't have to touch anything else. It had the oval shaped tub. So it had all the bells and whistles, but the rent was slightly higher, but the energy bills were lower. Now, disclaimer, I didn't turn on the heater or the air because I wasn't there most of the time. I was at work. Come on now, you're in a modern apartment, expect to pay more. So I was at work and I worked second shift. So at the heat of the day, I was at work soaking up the air at the job. I wasn't at home. And then when I got home, it was dark, so it was cool. And so there was no need to turn on the utilities. And so that was, a plus for me. And so my bill was $50. So if you're wondering, well, how much is your energy bill? It was $50. And people could not believe that. I said, I'm up here with you all. When I would sit up and tell my coworkers, I was like, I'm sitting up here with y'all. Why would I want to cool down or, keep a empty place warm while I'm sitting up here with you all? No, I'm not going to do it. And disclaimer, it was just me. So, you know, I'm talking to people who have children and they're, have, the electricity going 24 hours a day. So it's just me. So I was like, let me cut that off. And, when I did eventually cut it on, yes, my bill started to go, up. And so I said, well, okay, I'm gonna save a little money in my rent. And I said, it's time for me to go find a cheaper place. Okay, yeah, I found a cheaper place, but that cheaper place was some older apartments. They were built in the 80s, so just imagine. And y'all know that those people don't update those things like they say they do. That's just marketing to get you to come on in because most of that stuff is not energy efficient um, appliances. That it is what it is, and so that's why you need to come get your house. And so, I said, oh, okay, well, this is perfect. The living room is bigger. The bedroom is bigger because when you're in a modern space, and that's not talking about now I do agree with you all. Some new construction homes, it just depends on the size of the homes. Those rooms can be really, really small. And when I say you don't have a king size bed, trying to put hmm, don't have a king size bed and try to put it in a space like this. This right here is the office. So maybe, I mean, you can put it in here, but it doesn't give you a lot of room. And so when I say it doesn't give you a lot of room, because the king size bed is like this, and then you have your TV, and then the only thing left that you can put in there will be a chester, not a dresser, not those old school dressers, but but a Chester. So that's how much space you really have to work with. But these older apartments, I mean, it had a spacious living room, a spacious dining room, the kitchen, it wasn't so big, but the bedroom was big, the bathroom, it was, but hey, it worked. All right, I'll take it. So once those bills started kicking in, yeah. And so I had to call up and I mean, I'm talking about 150, 173. And remind you, I'm working the same night schedule. And I said, well, oh, okay, well, since it's a little cheaper, I can leave the air conditioner on throughout the night, 24 hours, blah, blah, blah. I can leave it on like normal people leave it on. And so once TXU started sending me them bills, I'm like, well, wait a minute, because I had to have them to come out and investigate. Because I'm like, how did my bill jump from when I was at the the newer place? It was 50 between like when I did eventually turn it on, it was like inching its way up to 100. But golly, I come over here, it's already 150, 153, 173. It's inching its way up to $200. I'm like, it's nobody but just me. I had to have them to come in and do an investigation. I had to have them to bring own car out, which is the delivery company for TXU. I was like, oh no, 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 no. You got to come out here and tell me something is just not right. Well, wasn't nothing wrong. The air wasn't seeping out or anything like that. And this is before I knew about all this stuff. So the air wasn't seeping out. Everything was fine, but I still kept getting those high electric bills. And I'm just like, golly. And I finally had a lady sit down and tell me, she said, yeah, you move to a bigger space and it takes more energy to cool that bigger space than it did that smaller space. And those windows, and when they say, when I'm talking about windows, windows do matter. We think they don't matter because you're like, oh, just give me the basic standard windows. Windows do matter. Having the smart technology, that's really good because now you can control it from your phone. Um, so you can just do all the bells and whistles when it comes to that. And installation does matter, especially during when the weather changes like they do down here in Texas. So all of those three major things do matter, and then the builders make sure that you know that the home is energy um, efficient. So all right, y'all, this wraps up this conversation around energy efficient. So that just lets you know. So when you're out on the market and your agent is walking you around and things like that. So, just keep that in mind about the energy efficient thing because it is real. I just told you my personal story, even though it's an apartment, it still goes for a home as well. And even in a new home, like I mentioned up earlier, you still have to you still have to do the cleanings, you still have to do the filters, you still have to have the professionals come out and look at uh, your HVAC. So please, you all, because I've seen so many court shows, and I know it's reality shows as well. I've seen so many court shows where they hire these handyman who are not licensed, who um, oh my goodness, I've just seen so many people hire friends to come in and fix things. And yes, I know the professionals cost a lot, but you have to also look at it is you hire handyman Tom to come in and do that, and handyman Tom comes in and messed it up. So you didn't pay handyman Tom, then you didn't call the professionals, then you turn around you want to sue handyman John. Man, that's already a few $1,000s right there when all you had to do was just call the professional in the first place. And I'm not knocking nobody's hustle. I know a lot of people, they learn the trade from their dad, their uncle, Paul, and things like that. But you all hire a professional. Trust me, it's cheaper in the long run to hire a professional versus hiring handyman Tom. And just nothing against handyman Tom, but you just want things fixed the right way. You want your home to be working. And then also another thing about having a new home is you can call in on your warranty and see if they cover um, your HVAC. Because just because they say that they cover it, you have to know in dead detail what they're going to cover when it comes to the HVAC. So, all right, you all. So, this has been a fun episode, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.